Across the world, massive sports stadiums that once hosted Super Bowls, World Cups, and Olympic events now stand empty, abandoned, or completely demolished. These are the stories of incredible stadiums that went from hosting history to becoming history themselves. When Houston unveiled the Astrodome in 1965, they rewrote the rules of what was possible at the time. In a city where summer temperatures regularly soar past 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the Astrodome kept fans at a perfect 74 degrees under a space-age dome that spanned 642 feet, the biggest of its kind. This was the world's first air-conditioned stadium. But the Astrodome's greatest innovation came from its biggest problem. When the grass started dying under the dome's skylights, they invented AstroTurf, revolutionizing sports forever. Those 42,217 cushioned seats witnessed history. Major League Baseball's first indoor baseball game, the Battle of the Sexes tennis match, and the Republican National Convention. By the time they expanded it to hold 60,000 people in 1989, the Astrodome had hosted 3 professional sports teams and earned its nickname, the 8th wonder of the world. Yet, progress is relentless. By 2008, the building that had inspired dozens of dome stadiums couldn't meet modern fire codes. Today, it sits in Houston's NRG Park, too historic to demolish, too expensive to renovate. Its last act of greatness was in 2005, when it sheltered 25,000 Hurricane Katrina refugees, proving that even in retirement, the Astrodome could still make history. At 80,311 seats, the Silverdome was the biggest NFL stadium ever built when it opened in 1975. But size wasn't what made it special. Above those seats stretched an engineering miracle, the first fiberglass fabric roof held up by nothing but air pressure. This $55.7 million marvel brought the Super Bowl north for the first time, hosted the first indoor World Cup matches, and gave Detroit's Lions and Pistons a home that seemed built for the future. For 28 years, the stadium's unique design worked perfectly. Then came the roof's fatal flaw. When it needed repairs, no one could figure out how to fix it. The technology that made the Silverdome possible had become so obsolete that finding qualified repair companies became impossible. By 2009, this monument to innovation sold for less than a typical house, just $583,000. It was demolished in 2017. In 2009, Ukraine unveiled its crown jewel. The $400 million Donbass Arena was Eastern Europe's first elite category venue, designed by the same team behind Beijing's Bird's Nest. Everything about it was state-of-the-art. 52,898 seats, 55 corporate boxes, 24 first aid stations, and a roof covering 93% of spectators. Beyoncé opened the place with her world tour. UEFA named it the best Euro 2012 stadium, and it won international awards for safety and security. The stadium was built to last centuries. Instead, it lasted 5 years. In 2014, conflict in the Donbass region turned this architectural masterpiece into a casualty of war. Multiple artillery strikes left the stadium battle-scarred and abandoned. The Donbass Arena's story reminds us that even the most impressive structures are vulnerable to forces far beyond any architect's control. Built in 1970, right after the Cagliari's only league title, the Sant'Elia embodied Italian football romance. Initially hosting 60,000 passionate fans, it set attendance records with 70,000 cramming in to watch European matches. This concrete coliseum hosted 3 World Cup matches in 1990, standing proud on Sardinia's coast. But Sant'Elia's story is one of slow decline. First came the 1990 World Cup renovation, reducing capacity to 40,919. Then another cut in 2002 to 23,486. Safety concerns forced temporary closures in 2012. Each renovation seemed to shrink the stadium further, until, by 2014, only 16,000 seats remained, barely a quarter of its original size. By 2017, even maintaining this reduced capacity became impossible. Today, the Sant'Elia sits abandoned, while a new €157.4 million stadium, the Unipol Donbass, rises nearby, a reminder that sometimes the end comes not with a bang, but with years of bureaucratic whimpers. Valencia's Nou Mestalla was meant to be Spanish football's future. Construction began in 2007 with grandiose plans: 75,000 seats, futuristic aluminium cladding, Europe's largest stadium canopy covered in photovoltaic panels. The €344 million project would transform Valencia's skyline. Then, the 2008 financial crisis hit, forcing construction to stop in February 2009, leaving behind a concrete skeleton, a monument to ambition frozen in time. For 15 years, this unfinished giant has loomed over Valencia's Benicalab neighbourhood, earning the nickname Ghost Ground. Multiple redesigns, budget cuts, and failed restarts later, the Nou Mestalla stands as a warning about the thin line between vision and overreach. Tiger Stadium was baseball's soul in concrete and steel. Opening alongside Fenway Park in 1912 as Navin Field, it grew with Detroit itself, expanding from 23,000 seats to its final capacity of 53,000. Its most distinctive feature was an upper deck that hung over the right field, creating baseball's first hitter's backdrop and putting fans so close they could hear the players' cleats dig into the dirt. From shoeless Joe Jackson's first run to Robert Flick's grand slam in the final 1999 game, Tiger Stadium hosted 87 years of baseball history and even a 3-decade stint with the NFL's Lions. Today, the Corner Ballpark hosts youth sports on the same sacred ground where legends played, while the original left field scoreboard keeps watch over Wayne State University, proof that while buildings may fall, memories endure. Candlestick Park was meant to be baseball's future when it opened in 1960, but Mother Nature had other plans. The first stadium built entirely of reinforced concrete, its construction costs spiraled from $5 million to over $20 million. But it wasn't the price tag that made Candlestick infamous. It was the wind. Built on a point jutting into San Francisco Bay, the stadium's location created such fierce swirling gusts that they once knocked a pitcher off the mound during an All-Star game. Despite the challenges, Candlestick hosted history: the Beatles' final concert, the 1989 World Series earthquake, and 49ers' glory years. The Giants fled the wind in 1999, the 49ers followed in 2013, and Paul McCartney delivered the final performance in 2014, a fitting bookend to the venue he first played with the Beatles. By 2015, even this concrete giant had surrendered to the winds of change. These aren't just stories about abandoned buildings, they're cautionary tales about innovation, ambition, and the unpredictable forces that can turn today's marvel into tomorrow's ruin. Each abandoned stadium teaches us something valuable about building for the future. They remind us that true innovation isn't just about being first, it's about being sustainable.